Well, hey everybody. So today's January 15th. It's kind of like the halfway point of the month. So I thought, what a perfect check-in for the I guess New Year's mindset, goals, resolutions, whatever that is that way. Also, too, with the cool promos they had like in January, if you sign up 3 new QIs in January, regardless of your start date, there's a 225 bonus. They'll pay out as well. Gauging progress with regards to that. I thought to do the check-in at the beginning part. Um, because I've been noticing the gym was really busy a week and a half ago. It's starting to die off already. I thought, wow, that's wild that there's so many people already not going to the gym. It didn't even last a month. People are stopping going. I go at the same time every day. I thought that to be interesting. The time from Christmas to the present day has been like a list of things that I've put off doing, like a closet that needs organization, like a dresser that needs to be gone through. I read a feng shui book at around Christmas, around Thanksgiving time, and the feng shui book, and it covered things in your home that I thought might be insightful for you guys watching the replay of this, for you guys on this call tonight. Feng Shui talks about qi. Qi is your life force energy. It's the stuff that you breathe in from your nose when you nose breathe. It's bioelectricity. It's a measurable electric current that you're taking in that's kind of powering your body to some degree. Some people think it's woo-woo, but in other ways of thinking in different forms of medicine, it's a very profound thing. And there's a system inside of you called the meridian system. And it's another measurable overlay of the way your body works, similar to like your central nervous system, which is also bioelectric. And so there's this like electrical component. Well, life force, they say, in your home flows in through the entrances of your home. So the entrance of your home being the place that opportunity and abundance enter your life. So I had to assess this at the very time the doors that lock my home were broken. So the doors wouldn't come in. So I'm coming in through the garage and my other 2 entrances are broken. And I'm like, wow, that's not symbolic or anything. And there was clutter all over the sides of the entrances. And I'm like, imagine what that does in your life. Imagine what that does in your emotions. And you know how you feel with a messy house. You feel like disheveled and kind of on edge. And so I have 5 children. It's kind of a lot. We've been working on habits and instituting different practices and things in our home. But I thought to have a feng shui check-in with you guys. The northeastern quadrant of your home, think of how your home is positioned. The northeastern quadrant of your home is your financial sector in your life. I had thought I got a handle on the entrances. I come in through the garage more than the other 2. I put new door handles on them. I completely changed the flow of them. We had a bottleneck of shoes, took care of that, adjusted things. When I did that same practice for my office and the entrances, against all odds showed up in my life. The way this all came about showed up in my life like 2-3 days after I did that. So I thought, man, I'm going to bring abundance into my life yet again. And I tackled the entrances and I tackled that northeastern quadrant of my home. And I've got 2 levels in my house. So I did the basement part and I did the upstairs part. I was in my daughter's room. That's a shared room. And there was so much junk and clutter. And we had to go through clothes that didn't fit anymore and all kinds of stuff they'd shoved under their bed, and went through the closets and the drawers and reconsolidated all the stuff, filled up like 6 trash bags to donate and some stuff to throw away. And someone shows up in my life that wants to do the business, and they're cranking. I'm at the cusp of a regional right now. I made it a goal this week to get a customer a day. Is it possible to get 7 customers in 7 days? So I only posted on Facebook on the 6th day. I was talking to someone who asked me a question about real estate. I talked to someone who asked me a question about my kids. I talked to someone who asked me about astrology. I talked to somebody that asked me a thing, and I'm like, hey, while I have you on the phone, are you getting enough minerals in your life? And they're like, well, I mean, I take this and this. And I'm like, there's a couple of things you can do to get minerals. I explained how we have this real salt that comes out of Utah, and how you can just add something you're already doing in your house and sprinkle minerals by way of salt. That's like good real minerals in your thing. And I was like, I actually have something you'd be really into. And I was like, you've seen me post about that green juice, haven't you? And they're like, no, I haven't. I think they had. And I said, man, it comes from some of the most mineral rich soil in the world. It tastes good and it's cheaper than the competition. I was like, dude, I'll send you 25% off coupon code. He bought right then. Like right then, a girl asked me about my astrologer, says that he hasn't been getting back to me. Do you have somebody else you'd recommend? So I said, oh, I would recommend this guy. Hey, are you drinking a greens product? She goes, I have off and on, but they just taste gross. I was like, I want you to try mine. I'm going to send you 25% off coupon code. And so I did, and she bought 2 bags right then. I generated 22 coupon codes this week. I got 8 customers. Some people haven't filled the orders yet. And I thought that's such an easy conversation. And it was like $200, like $200 in commissions. And every one of those people is going to have a positive experience with the product. And then I'll follow up with them in a week or so, see how they like it, see how the test strips went, see if they'll give me a picture or a testimonial. And then I figure from there, I'll bring the business up if they like it. So I thought, the customer option is seriously the easiest conversation. And to call somebody to bless their life, customer-wise, with savings, with that model that we all know from social media of like using a coupon to get a customer, it's like people are getting it. So I wanted to talk about the feng shui check-in. How's the northeastern quadrant of your home? I wanted to talk about your entrances. How are the entrances of your home? And if you think all this is woo-woo, then my challenge to you would be like, hey, go clean and declutter that spot of your home. And, maybe take a look at the entrances and be vigilant in making sure that area is picked up and free from obstruction, because that's supposed to be demonstrative of your life, I guess. And then the promo check-in, you have roughly 2 weeks to get 3 QIs to make that bonus. They've changed a few things within the comp plan. Some of the new videos coming up, we've seen teasers of, looks so cool. That's going to be really cool when that launches, but why wait? Why not go now and fill the hopper with customers and people that are getting in the business and going. And then as the beginning stages of that start to come into play, it's a great time to transition people into the customer side of things. So Peyton, that was the housekeeping I had. I'd love it if you jump in and also tell everybody what you're doing this weekend.
Yeah, totally. So thank you, Kevin. And I'm in a really reflective space at the moment, right? So I'm up here in a place called Sealy Lake, Montana. It's very rural. It's a tiny little town. There's 2 restaurants in town. Last night we ate at one of them. They serve steak. Today we ate at the other one. It's a Mexican restaurant, but I've been up here at a snowmobile clinic. And just to kind of give you a picture of what these are, the segment of snowmobiling that I do is mountain snowmobiling. And it's a very specific skill set of how to use these crazy machines to ride into really high alpine terrain. And there's about 4 or 5 outfits around the country that are professional riders, and they do what are called clinics. So it's much different than like a tour. It's coaching. Usually it's groups of guys that are and girls that are wanting to progress and to go farther in the sport. And so I'm kind of a self-proclaimed intermediate, and I was actually booked for an event a week from now, but I got a call earlier in the week, which is really interesting because in the last couple of weeks, I did clean the entrance to my home. And then within probably 4 or 5 days from when that happened, I had a little bit of a scheduling conflict. I had booked this trip like almost a year ago. And I got a call from these guys and they said, hey, we have too many people booked for the weekend. You're supposed to be here. Could you just come this weekend? It's going to be an advanced clinic, but we think you can hang. And it like works perfect for my schedule. So I'm like, oh, okay, here come the serendipities. So I came up here, and long story short, I've been getting my butt kicked for the last 2 days. There's 9 riders here. I'm definitely the most, I'm the worst of everybody, right? So I have a lot to gain as far as what I've been exposed to. And I've basically been just getting my butt kicked, and I'm putting from the rough for the last 2 days straight, getting a little dose of humble pie. But, that kind of brings me to this, is that, I'm searching for, I'm out here and I'm like, I could basically get kind of grumpy about the whole experience. Like, it's been dicey and I'm all beat up and I'm fatigued and I'm tired. And I like, so it's like, but okay, what's the lesson here? What's the lesson here? And I'm sure over the next week, anytime that we have a big experience in our lives, whether it's something that's for pleasure, or whether it's something that's in business, or whether it's a trial, there's always lessons embedded in it, right? And so it's like that great saying, it says sometimes we have good days and sometimes we have growing days. And so one of the thoughts that I had today is that about midway through the day, we were going from one zone to another zone, and I was physically very exhausted, fatigued. Mentally, I was kind of psyched out. And just to kind of put it in perspective, like if there's a challenging way and a more challenging way to get somewhere, when you get to the advanced group, the advanced guys go the most challenging way every time, and there's no easier way to go. So you just have to deal with like just basically getting led astray, and you got to just deal with it. And so I thought to myself at one point, I said, all right, what, I can't really change the circumstances. I can't change the conditions. I can't change the way I necessarily physically feel because I'm fatigued. I said, but what can I change? I said, I can change my mindset. And I said, all right, well, I can't really control the fact that maybe the weekend didn't go exactly the way that I wanted, although it's been great. I can't really change. There's just so many things I couldn't change, but I'm like, I can change my mindset. I said, I can't even change how long this day is going to be. I might be really tired after 7 or 8 hours of this, but what I can change, I said, what if as we go from this zone to the next zone, I just like put more energy into it. I engage with the machine more, and I just am more proactive. And what's interesting is that that next stage was probably the best riding that I did all day. It was like I had better control, and I've made better decisions and all the above. So what does this have to do with our business, right? And it's like, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but sometimes I think about, I'm like, well, what's the goal? I mean, ultimately the goal is to build an organization where you have massive financial freedom, you have massive residual income, and you have tons and tons of people that you've helped achieve their goals. And together, everybody's kind of going in the same direction. Happy customers, happy distributors, happy company, happy life, right? And sometimes that can seem so big. You start to float these numbers out there of what it's going to take to do that, and it's like we might not even have the skill to run an organization that big yet, right? But what can we do right now? And it's like, my guess is that every single person that's ever going to watch this video, there's something that you can do very well at the ability level that you can do it, even if everything else is in disarray. Maybe, the first people that you brought into the company quit. Maybe people lost their password and got frozen out and became customers of a competing product. Like, so many things that can happen. Maybe you're completely consumed in your personal life, or maybe completely consumed in your professional life outside of this, but you want to grow this. It's like so many things can be happening. But I guess the prompt, if Kevin had a prompt for the house and prompt for the new year and stuff like that, it's my prompt would be, what areas can we proactively engage in a slightly different mindset, even if it's only for 20 minutes to engage in a couple of customer conversations and send out some codes, right? Even if it's only to make an invitation this week to find a QI. Maybe finding 3 QIs in the next 15 days feels like a really daunting task. And maybe the mindset that you might have is that you think, well, I can't do that. And so maybe you get shut down and don't feel like taking a bunch of action. And it's like, well, for 10 or 15 minutes, could you engage in the idea of like, hey, I think this is a really cool thing. And you know what, my friend Bill just came to mind, and I need to send an invitation to Bill. And then can you do that in a way where you perform it at the best of your ability, right? And I'll kind of leave it with this, but over the years, you can ride the peaks and the valleys of a business like this. You can ride the peaks and valleys of life, but sometimes it is so evident that we believe that we need more of something to be better at it. Like, I mean, me being here on this trip, I'm like, man, I need more resources. I need more fitness. I need more skills. But the truth is I'm here right now. And so I'll leave you with this, and that it's the saying of start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. And to go with that, it's this idea that all you can do is all you can do, but all you can do is enough. As long as, if you have that 15 minutes or you have that 45 minutes, you're hammering it, giving it what you got, and let the chips fall where they fall. Because ultimately, the mindset that we approach this life with is the hidden variable that makes the difference. And I'm constantly reminded of that. So that's my prompt. And Kevin, if you want to wrap up with anything.
Thank you. I love that. You're right. Peyton's so right in what he says about that. The mindset is everything. I have the week where I'm like existential, and I'm like, what if against all odds doesn't work? And what if I should go keep selling real estate, and maybe I should sell solar or do this or do that? And it's so daunting in the beginning. I remember our old mentor would say, to get to your first 100 people is profoundly harder than getting to your first 1,000. And I didn't understand that for the longest time. But if it's me by myself recruiting one person to get to the 100 people seems daunting. But when one person gets a couple people, then it's like, say, 200% more doable because we're not by ourselves. And then all of a sudden you've got, a total of a few, and then each person gets a couple, and then one person takes off with it. To not have experienced that would be my hope for you. The feeling of that. I went to bed last night at like 1:30 in the morning, and I checked my back office right before I went to bed. I was doing it's on my whiteboard up here. I was doing some assessments and some short-term goals, and I'm wanting to go to regional influencer. And in the aspect of going to regional, that you need a certain amount of area influencers in your area code. And so I'm like, who's closest to the code? And I'm doing a code report, and I'm putting the people in there. I'm like, I got to call these people because I bet we could, drive some energy into that and then get somebody to go to area. And someone I've never met before had joined and put 11 areas in the last 48 hours. And somebody on their team has 8. I'm going to go regional from 2 people I've never met before. I have no idea who these people are. And this morning when I woke up, there were 12 new QIs that I made a $50 bonus on all 12 of those people. I don't know where they came from. I don't know who they are yet. But that happened, and that was a $600 financial gain overnight. It just reminds me of when I first got started and there was that meeting that took place while I was at work. The true magic of what we're doing. I had my brother-in-law a conversation yesterday. I guess he had with his wife. We had some people who wanted to sell solar, and he sells solar. We thought, well, let's connect those 2 people together. And his question was, why don't you put them in the green juice thing? Why are you going to give them to me? And I said, well, they don't want to do the green juice thing. I already checked. So I figured I'd send them to you. And the thought of that, it's like not everybody's going to do this. So I don't get butthurt or emotional when they say no. I want to say if I talk to 20 people, 5 of them might get involved. But if I talk to 10 people about being a customer, 7 or 8 of them are going to be involved. So if I want to have the customer conversation, that's so easy, and I'm giving them savings. That could lead to more business things. If I have the business conversation, it's straight business. I like to lead with business, and then if they say no, I lead with customer, and then they go customer. But that aspect of people joining your business when you're not doing the work and you getting an override on them, it's like working really, really focused for a year and getting paid for 5 or 6 years. What other aspect in this life is available to you like that, where you can work once and continue getting paid? If everything else is linear, there are people on their knees that are looking for something. And if you are scared and in your own way from helping share something like that that could bless somebody else's life, like, I just feel like you'll answer to God for that. You know what I mean? That's like important. Like there's people that need this. So if I take action and the right person at the right time lines up, and that person went out and this was what they did to set their family free, would it be fair if I made an override because I connected it? That's why we can get paid so much in something like this. I wonder if I could get Peyton to come back on, but I was going to say, there are so many powerful stories in networking. And one of my favorite things from Peyton, I mean, this happens during the week. Peyton, I want you to share one of the best stories or 2. Can you please do that? And then you close it out, because those get me so motivated. People that are regular people that just share this and get lost in the work. And then it ultimately ends up being tremendous, 7, 8 figures. Will you just share a couple of those? That's like my favorite thing.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one that comes to mind is that just a week and a half ago, probably arguably the most profound networker that's ever lived, unfortunately passed away untimely in an airplane accident. His private jet that he pilots crashed, and he died. But he's been building a company for almost 30 years. He had formerly retired from touring and speaking a couple of years ago. But I just think so much about that. I mean, the guy had 4 kids. He had 16 grandkids, and that's a very successful company that is established and is is on the New York Stock Exchange. They do well into the billions annually in sales. His organization does almost $1 billion a year in sales. And you just think about it, like that family has real lifetime residual income and security right now. Well, I mean, into the astronomical levels, like we're talking 7 digits per month in income, because when you build uh, when you build something like this, it's so much more than just a business or an income. It's an asset, and it's something that you can develop an asset with nothing more than sweat equity. You can get massive levels of return, units of passive income, with just as a product of helping to cultivate leaders and to cultivate customer groups. And so that idea of, I hope that we're all doing this because we have a dream. I hope that we're all doing this because we want something shiny. Oh, my camera, I got blacked out here in the car. But, I hope that we're doing this for all those wonderful self-serving, reasons. But time and time again, we're just proving that it's like tomorrow's not promised to any of us. And, a job, they always say a job will replace you probably sooner than your funeral will get scheduled. But this is something that can continue paying your family for many, many years to come in the event of something catastrophic. And it doesn't have to be, death. It can be turning the corner, doing something else. So that's a pretty exciting aspect of this.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. I hope you guys get some customers this week. I am going to continue on with my list this week. I'm going to continue with my customers this week. I know the coupon codes are supposed to go away at the end of the month. And so I thought I'm going to get as many customers potentially in the hopper, as many coupon codes out generated as possible. And when we get new coupon codes the following month from our auto ship, I will then have some coupon codes that are out, and it'll allow me the ability to kind of go that route. So I hope you guys have a good week. I'm grateful for you guys being on the call consistently. And thank you guys. I hope you have a good Monday. Next week, we're going to do a really good call. We were going to do the financial call with Peyton's travel schedule. We thought we'd put it off for a week. So next week's going to be a really powerful call. If you have anybody, make sure they're on that. And have a good rest of your week. Thank you.